All right, everybody, we're live. We'll talk about your news feed in just a second. As the COMiX Indee news begins, we're excited. Let's roll the credits and we'll be right back.
This is COMiX Newswire giving you the buzz coming off the wire about the comic book industry. Turn that volume up and give us a few minutes to keep you in the loop of everything going on in the industry today.
Let me, Indee.
Mr. Anderson is the unboxable advocating creator known as the devilish comics creator who will tempt you with his devilish tales. He creates books about fetish, monsters, and more, and offers free spanks and hugs. He also teaches morals with farts. Check out the COMiX Devil by going to MrAnderson.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new day. New day and new time. We're back to 11. We used to do the news here back when we did 2 news programs. Now we've separated them between mainstream and indie deliberately to give us a full day of indie. That's where we're at right now. We want to thank Facebook for all their hard work in their newsfeed. As I said, keep up the good work, Facebook. Your update is doing great over the last month. I don't see any drama and vile on Facebook anymore. Amazing job, Facebook. I really do appreciate you. Nothing but love to you guys. Keep selling my information, everybody. Kidding around aside, Comic-Con at home. This is officially happening. I'm excited. I want to see what goes on. There are panel discussions going on. Online exhibit hall. This is kind of interesting. I'm kind of digging it. So what you could do is you could just click, I guess, on things. So let's just randomly pick someone. Lollygag. All right, we'll go Lollygag. So you go over to Lollygag and you see the products, you see the company. So this is kind of interesting. I'm really digging what they're doing here. You got a Marvel booth, you got some storyboards here. So this is kind of what I was hoping I would see from them, and I'm really impressed. This is kind of the technology. I think that they could do better. See, like, this is not good. Someone should have gone through and looked at it, but they did. Credit where credit's due. There's a lot of exciting stuff. Doesn't seem to be a lot filled in over here, though, for some reason. Every so often I'm getting a thing. So, I mean, it's not perfect yet, but so far I'll give them credit where credit's due. This is seemingly the best I have seen yet, and I'm a fan of Mattel, so let's see what Mattel's got for us today. Mr. T figure. Oh, I pity the fool who don't get that. So, I mean, it's pretty exciting. I like this. It's working a lot better than it was working yesterday. The only thing I wish there was a live video stream. See, if you represent the exhibitor, you can upload pictures here. See, like Warner Brothers, just letting me down, Warner Brothers. And you can even go up here to next exhibitor. DC doesn't have any products. That's probably because they originally had their streaming service in there, which, by the way, the DC universe, it's not dead yet. It's on its deathbed. Maybe they'll bring it back as just a comic thing, because I did like the comics. I'll be honest with you. I stopped subscribing to it for a while because I hated reading the comics on the tablet form. I think if they can make it available for PCs easier, because it didn't translate, at least for iOS, it didn't translate well for me. But this is pretty cool. I really like what they're doing. And they got some panels. And if you're wondering, well, Rob, San Diego is mainstream. There are some definite creators part of this. So we're going to promote it. And, of course, we cover Comic-Cons. And on Thursday's show, we would normally be talking about the Comic-Cons for the weekend. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're talking about the Comic-Con that's going on right now. Now, if you'll notice, you're not seeing me on the screen. That's because the news is more important than me. Let's see if we can make this bigger for you guys to look at home. So a lot of great stuff. I give them a lot of credit. Even though they didn't invite me, yes, my feelings were hurt, but that's okay. This is bigger and more important than just me. So I'm pretty excited about what they're doing. Honestly, I've had my issues with them in the past for what they did by suing a smaller company over a name. I thought it was small, but this isn't small. A lot of credit to them. For the first time, I'm seeing someone actually trying to do it right. We're at the exhibit hall. We got merch right here, some watch party, just Will Eisner Comic Awards. This is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Here's a complete list of nominations. You got some great titles here. Of course, I wasn't nominated. Again, feelings hurt, but I get it. I understand. One day I will be here. One day I will be taking home as many awards as I can. I'm going to get one of those grand cases and have all my work there. And speaking of my work, definitely not only check out San Diego Comic-Con, but since I don't promote myself enough and my friends are literally on me to promote myself more, I got a treat for you. I'm actually going to promote myself because I'm an indie creator and this is about indie comics. So check out my Kickstarter that's on right now. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for this promotional video about Written Sins Volume 1, The COMiX Devil, alternatively known as the Volume of Pride, because that's the sin we're covering, because it's all about me, the uncanny, underground indie devil who's an advocate for underground and indie comics. And I'm also a proud single dad, and you should get to know me. I'm a really interesting person. At least that's what I'm told. You can find out more about me at MrAnderson.com. You can see the haircut I have. But this is actually about the earlier work I had. And there are some interesting stories, including that of the New York Reporter. Find out what happens when a city, New York City in fact, needs a hero, and what being a hero and the costs of being a hero means through the pages of a comic book that's a newspaper. That's right. This is something made entirely to tell you a story of the city that Dark Justice inherits. The other comic book, where we find out when a city needs a hero to be a symbol of hope, sometimes it's a job just too big for one man. We're going to find out what that means within those pages. And Gothic Blue, created by my sister Shorty. She may glow blue, but don't assume her gothic heart is here to save you. She's just here to balance the scales of justice. So what does all that mean? Well, you got to read the comic to find out, including Trollgate. Trollgate's an interesting comic. I love this. Art amazingly done by James Eric Hudson. It's just online, right? It isn't real. But what happens when fake online stuff affects the lives of those in real life? And bullying causes a person to take their own life. Oh my. And Painbox. The world is often unfair, especially when you get hurt at work. But what if those who decide on your compensation had to feel the pain? Would that change the practice from unfair to fair? And of course, Barbara Unleashed is going to be available within this Kickstarter as well as a reward, not part of the main volume, but as a reward. And The Advocator presents, here it is. You can see my edition of it right there. The Advocator is the poo-poo platter of indie comics. Get your copies right now via this campaign. And you could read that later, pause the video, see what we're about. It explains it nicely, but we're going to move on. We're also going to be giving you guys the opportunity to get Cat Dad and Supermom through this campaign. But ultimately, this campaign is all about Written Sins, Volume 1, The COMiX Devil, that's me. All the different creative things I had, including some new stuff that you've never seen before, including Painbox, an alternative story for Gothic Blue that never got finished by the artist. I'm super excited to bring you all this. I hope you guys look deeply into it. Check out all the videos I'm doing about it and ask any questions. Trust me, we can make you guys your own unique, custom reward level if you want. Thank you for watching the video. That's it for now. I appreciate you taking the time. All right, guys, and we're enacting the elevator pitch rule. So what is that? Well, that's new to the show. We're trying it out as a pilot. For now, we're going to put it in. So here it is. The link is now in the chat. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the chat. You guys can now be part of the show. Here's the basic idea. You now have the link. Show up to the show. Pitch us your work. Make sure you're ready, though. If you're coming to the show, have that whatever you want to share with us ready. If you want to share a Kickstarter picture, if you just want to pitch yourself live on screen, have a URL ready. You get the time it takes to take an elevator ride. So that's it. And if I really like what I hear and I'm really excited and I have extra time on the show, I might invite you to stay for the rest of the show. If it's an interesting pitch, I'll take your business card and tell you I'll contact you later. And if it's not an interesting pitch, I'll just tell you, well, sorry, this is my floor. Nice talking to you and nice meeting you. Good luck with your future endeavors. So there's pressure. Will you live up to the Indee Devil's liking? Well, come on board and see if you can measure up to my likes. And really, it's not hard. I'm an advocate for comics. You guys are pretty much guaranteed that I'll take some sort of interest in it. But it just makes it interesting. We're going to be doing elevator pitches. And the reason I was picking on, by the way, today, I wasn't doing it just for fun. The news feed isn't available right now. Yeah, so is Messenger. Messenger's also being a bit of a pain in the butt right now because I tried to reach out to my co-host, excuse me, Josh Lyman, and it didn't send the message to him. So that's why he's missing today. I'm hoping he's still recovering well, but we never got to get him the message on time, so he knew to be here. This is a little early for him. He might not actually be fully up yet because he's over in Texas, and I think he's an hour behind us. So if he didn't know he had to be up this morning, it might not have happened. So thank you, Facebook, for being yourself. You're so wonderful, so absolutely wonderful. But we're going to move on to our Comic Book Advocates Network, where you can see our new look, and let's find out more about the Comic Book Advocate. And you'll notice our older logos here. I'll update it eventually, but for now, check out what Comic Book Advocates is all about. ComicBookAdvocates.com is the global digital Comic-Con, but it's more than that. And you can be more too. Be more than just a fan. Become an advocate for comics like ComicBookAdvocates.com is for their creators, for their crowdfunding, for the very books they're creating, because we love comics. Now, if you guys noticed that we're now part of Geek Insider, we're in collaboration with them. We're covering the comics for them, so we're pretty excited about that. And we can't wait to live up to their expectations. And speaking of great expectations, Chuck's Raw Reviews broke down in 4 Dead Bodies 3. Wow, that's a mouthful right there. Broke down in 4 Dead Bodies 3. Issue number 3 is being reviewed by the one, the only Chuck Pino. The creator of Fetish Monsters and More is back on Kickstarter. That's right, I am on Kickstarter. Check out my great works. Get Barbara Unleashed. If you have a fetish or you're interested in the fetish, there's a whole reward tier just for you. And if you like monsters, we have a reward tier and all the great stuff. We had the great Devil's Advocate Cancel Culture versus Accountability this week on the show. I'm glad you guys asked, so let me bring it up right now, and then we're going to do some comments. This week on our show, we're going to be talking about the dangers of creators coming before comics. Oh, my. And again, if you want to pitch your own stuff, if you want to be part of the show right now, the elevator pitch is open. So the elevator is accepting writers. So here we go. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have an opinion? Just want to watch or be on the show? Reach out to me. That's an open mic show. We allow anyone and everyone to be there. Do you need help? No, but I'd love to hang out with you, Chuck. If you want to come on in and just hang out with me, it's always more fun with more people to be part of this. And the Texan is up. Yeah. But you have kids. Josh doesn't have kids. I remember a time without kids. You don't get up early when you don't have kids. What's going on, Sarah? And I didn't know you had an early show, or would I have showered and changed my shirt? Yes, you do. You asked me yesterday what times on Thursdays you couldn't do a show. You knew that. And speaking of shows, I do want to mention this. A lot of love. And Chuck, definitely come on. If you got time this morning, come hang out, talk about what you're doing, and talk about that latest review. All right, so quickly we're going to jump over here. Got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm pretty excited about it. We're going to talk about all this great stuff, including Ladies' Night. Why, hello. And we'll be there in just a second. But first, where is it? Oh, man, I'm not finding it. I feel so incompatible right now with myself. All right, here, a quick distraction because I got to dig something out for you guys. It's important for what we're talking about. So I definitely want to bring it up. Let's hit the fact. Let's do it. Let's do Geek Insider. Geek Insider, we're working together. They have an ad I try to play once during the show. Let's take the time to play that ad right now.
We'll be back right after this quick break. For Geek Insider advertising opportunities, contact advertising@geekinsider.com. We offer space on the website, in the daily newsletter, sponsored posts, and advertising space on our podcast. For details, contact advertising@geekinsider.com.
Now, I am proud to announce that not only are you going to be seeing my stuff now on Geek Insider, that's why at the beginning of the shows I'm actually playing my intro and stuff, because people might not be knowing it, but a lot of Geek Insider content is going to be coming onto my personal profile so I can share it even easier. Today, Meredith is actually going to have special guest Ines Escanard. I don't know how Escanard. I have to ask her how to pronounce that. I feel horrible because I'm so bad with names. I'm going to have to ask her. I'm not even going to try a third time. She's a fashion designer by trade, but she had an interesting creative journey and is a great creative writer. Additionally, she's written screenplays for film and television. Oh my. Iva is her first comic book with art by the one, the only, the great Timothy Green II. This is a special episode of Geek Insider with Matthew Harris, good friend. He's been on Kickstarter Plus, and he is part of Geek Insider, has great shows and content on there. And Meredith Logren. It's going to be a live stream at 4 p.m. Eastern, so our geek friends across the pond can tune in and ask questions. And remember, if you want to pitch something, please come on. And since we're collaborating with that, let me see if I still got the video lined up. I actually had her video. Let me see. Where? Oh, I think it's on my other one. I had her video loaded here, but that's okay. Here's what we can do. We can just go bring up the actual Indiegogo. She's on Indiegogo right now, so let's take a look at what she's creating, and then I'll spend a few seconds and I'll invite Chuck to be on the show. Here we go. Let me bring it up. Big screen for you kids. I know how you like your big screens.
Iva is a cyberpunk comic book series based on a love of 80s sci-fi and fantasy fiction. The story is set in the Ardent Nation, an upbeat, stylized technological utopia set in the 23rd century.
Yeah, cool.
However, all is not what it seems. Individuality and privacy are rare commodities that only the governing elite are privileged to. So imagine, if you will, social media becoming the governing body of a surviving nation. Everything about you and what you do since the day you were born is automatically streamed onto your timeline. This is then monitored by a totalitarian regime known as Mainframe. Mainframe's prime directive is to compete for technological advancement and for survival in a post-apocalyptic world. In the spirit of fighting cyber-terrorism, people of the Ardent Nation are kept on a short leash through the use of surveillance implants. The message is simple: comply with Mainframe's standard behavior protocol or be rehabilitated. It's all about working as a collective for a common cause while suppressing any scope for individual thought and self-expression. Iva is now complete and ready for publication. It's a labour of love that's been brought to life by the epic illustrative skills of Timothy Green II. It's an extraordinary journey, one of which we hope our readers will join us on.
All right, definitely back that campaign. It's super awesome. Getting there, 133 backers. Man, she's doing fantastic. And some comments here. Chuck said, send me the link. The link, gladly, he'd be here. And with that, He's here. There is
What's
Chuck.
up?
Chuck, introduce yourself to the viewing audience. Chuck actually remembers when we used to be on here at 11. He used to come on every so often and be part of the show when we're back where we belong, 11 a.m.s on Thursdays.
Back where we belong. Chuck Bino, freelance writer and editor. I've worked on a ton of stuff, especially an awful lot of written sins work.
Do you have something to pitch, or are you just coming to hang out?
Coming to hang out.
Okay. I don't know. With you, there's always something you could be on Kickstarter for. We could talk about The Advocator.
So right now I'm on Kickstarter with 2 books, and I have another one coming, so I can always throw those at you if you want.
Yeah, do it. Tell them what you got. Elevator pitch for the first one, and go.
Okay, so the first one is called Swords and Silence. It's by Connor Bartel and Adigan Ilhan. It's part 2 of a 3-part series, and it's basically the tale of an assassin trying to get out of the guild and live his own life and the struggles that come with that.
Yeah, you missed out the whole kung fu thing.
Well,
you should have told me about the kung fu thing, man. We watched the video yesterday, so that was the whole kung fu aspect. Boo, you missed out on it. But no, that's interesting. That is definitely interesting. That has my my ears up in the air, especially Connor. Connor's a great guy.
Yep. The first one was really good. We did that back in 2018, and this one is really good as well. Very excited about it. I think it's gonna do well, and people who are into that stuff, it's very Kurosawa inspired. So people who are into that will definitely enjoy this.
Okay, let's do the second one.
The second one I don't know near as much about, but it's Seed Seekers. It's a great all ages fantasy story, and it's about the origins of the kingdom and what created it and what made everything that we've enjoyed up to now happen. So that one looks like a lot of fun, and Martha Schwartz is doing that with art from Robert Nix, so it's really looking nice.
All right. And we had both of those on the show yesterday, which you can check out. We actually did a deep dive on Kickstarter pause yesterday because we have all the extra time. Let me ask you, Chuck. I was talking to Travis about this yesterday, and Travis, by the way, on Kickstarter now with Voodoo Nations. That's doing pretty good, but could use a lot more support if you guys don't mind. What are your personal thoughts on the amount of Kickstarting? Because you've watched me cover this now for 3 years, basically. You've been in the background on Written Sins that became, Indie Advocates. It's now Comic Book Advocates. I feel like there's less campaigns. Travis pointed out that there are only 12 less campaigns. I argued, well, there's also more professionals, and there are also honestly, there's some IP violations right now on Kickstarter, real blatant ones.
There's been a bunch, absolutely, yeah, I agree.
So, do you think there's less right now? Do you find less people kickstarting, or
the numbers speak for themselves, right? So if there's only 12 less, there's only 12 less. But I would say that in the community, it feels like there's less. So that probably says something towards the fact that there's a lot more I've noticed a massive surge in the cheesecake books, which don't get mentioned as much. And also I've seen a lot more of the professionals coming in and doing stuff. So yeah.
Definitely true. We've seen an uptick in that. So all right, Chucky's going to hang out with us. We're going to continue to watch this. Have you you've seen this? You've been on the show with me with this, so I know you. I've
spoken with Anis several times. Yeah.
Yeah. So Anis, but did you know about the 2020 stay-at-home Comic-Con? And I'm not a huge fan of them, the San Diego people, for their lawsuit. But this is how it should be done. Remember when I was bitching about online cons, and I said none of them did it right. Here's doing it right. Look at this interactive map. And I couldn't get this to work yesterday. That's why I didn't bring it up on the show. And it turned out that I think that because it was Tuesday I went live on the show. It just wasn't active yet. so it was a little too early to talk about it. But like, this is what I've always assumed I would do if I had more money. I wish it were a little sharper. I think they could have done a better job with this particular because it's so small right here. I would have liked it more interactive, but I look at this as beta. No one's done this yet. This is like akin to what we do with our Artist Alley, but using images. So I think people are going to see this and try to figure out how to do this better now. This is what I was talking about. This feels more like an online con. And I'm hoping that in future iterations of this, you'll have a live tab right here, right next to products. Imagine if you could go live when they're live and come in and click it and get a notification button right here. See, now, I hope San Diego's listening because I'm giving them the gold here, or New York Comic Con. So let's be honest, New York Comic Con's not happening. It's not. We're the middle of July. They haven't sent out who's accepted to Artist Alley. They haven't accepted any panels yet. They haven't even sent out who's being pro passes. They haven't even started selling tickets. They are hoping beyond hope, but unfortunately, I have an issue going on with my family that might send me to New York in the next coming weeks. So I've been paying a lot of attention to New York, and the numbers are rising. It's not going good. I would love New York Comic Con to happen. It's my home show. It's always going to be my home show. I don't care if they don't let me in as a pro. I'll go there as a fan as long as I can afford it. It's not going to happen. So this is the wave of the future, I think, until next summer. I think that you're going to see a lot more of these shows. And if they can do this, and maybe they need to start getting together and getting a bigger budget together, because this is really what I want to see. This is what I think is interesting. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that haven't come through. Comic Cage doesn't have their page set up. A couple of other ones don't have it. Like, you want to know surprising? Here's surprising. Check this out. They're not ready. WB is not ready right now. Check this out. Nothing. How's that happen?
You know what? It's funny. This is still really early. Like, no one's used to having to do this. So this is going to be buggy and shitty in a lot of ways. So fans out there, be patient. Because I know I have a lot of buddies, and I'm sure Rob does too, who are in this right now. My good buddy Don Wynn is there. He's been very supportive of me and gotten to work with him a little bit. But there's a lot of people there. It's going to be buggy and shitty. But I honestly believe that if we check these out, we support them, we try to do what we can for them, this can be an alternative. Yes. And this can be something that can happen where I'm able to go to Comic-Con without going to Comic-Con. You know what I mean? And that means as both a presenter and as a fan. So, you know, Comic-Con, let's say Comic-Con happens in 2023 and everything is fine again. Let's just say we're all good. The country's not on fire. There's no virulent bullshit happening. But you still just can't make it to San Diego. So they go, oh, okay, well, we're also putting on an online con at the exact same time. And you're like, oh, cool. So the people who aren't there can still be there as both presenters. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it'd be cool if you could cross over with them. Like, as they're on the panel, you're in the room now with 5 other people potentially who, well, I worked with Chuck. Chuck, tell him about the time we did this. And I have always wanted this, more technology integrated with these conventions. I think this is a step forward. Like you said, San Diego had enough time to really develop this, but they were developing it from scratch, re-looking at it. And no matter what they were going to do, you're right, it was going to be glitchy. It wasn't going to be perfect. You know, they didn't come and ask me, so I couldn't help them make it perfect. They had 2021. You can come talk to the devil. The Indie Devil will help you fix all your mistakes, San Diego Comic-Con. New York Comic-Con, I am for hire. I'll fix you up. I'll tell you a bunch of things. Some of them I've shared on the show. Some of them keeping to myself because I'm worth the money. So you come pay me. I'm going to be the first Comic-Con editor in the world, and I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with this. I will say the exhibitor location numbers kind of seem stupid. Just because of their different, there doesn't need to be zones unless they're going to push it harder with their actual map. So if you're going to do zones, this map should have had those breakaways. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should have had bigger zones, because right now it's just this. You do have this over here, fan club organizations that have nothing. So again, you have a couple over here, but again, I give them credit. They've done something. So you have the Jericho fan table. Okay, like was that is that really that could have been an indie creator. You could have gone out of your way and gotten an indie creator.
Didn't Jericho get like 2 seasons?
I think it's Chris Jericho, maybe the wrestler, but I can't tell because they didn't fill anything out. So, no, you're right. No, you're right.
Because it has the explosion, it looks like the TV show Jericho.
No, you're right. You're right. I thought it was the wrestler.
Yeah.
There's even less of a table now. That thing got canceled so long ago. But we tease Jericho. We tease Jericho, creator. And you go and you don't have a table. You're like, I'm so much better than the 701st Fleet USS Navarus. What's that? I should have that table. That should be mine. But I'm excited that they're doing it. I give them credit. This came together so quickly, and it is really impressive what they did. They're doing the Eisner Awards. They didn't give up. You got to give them credit. They didn't give up. They didn't run home. They didn't cry. They showed up. And credit also, that while they're not doing a similar thing, GalaxyCon has been putting on a lot of events throughout the year. New York Comic Con is trying to do stuff. Tampa Bay Comic Con, not only did we do something where we invited them last weekend, but they have gone silent, and I am disappointed. MegaCon is trying an October show, and they have done some stuff. Smaller shows have tried to go online. I don't think they should call themselves cons. This is, I think, got to be the new standard. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually, so my con in September just canceled, Big Texas Comic Con, which was, I mean, not a surprise, but honestly, with how Texas was dealing with things, I was like, maybe it'll still happen, like, because they're just doing so shitty. But no, these guys were smart, and I appreciate that. But yeah, I think this is definitely a way to do it. And I think that even moving forward, like I said, when things aren't shit, you can still coordinate this and have it going at the same time. Or even have it going, say, afterwards, like the weekend afterwards or whatever. And that way you're turning your convention instead of one weekend to 2 weekends, you know? So there's a lot of different things that you can do to really play with this and have fun. By doing this, you can, like I said, by having something like this, you could pay, say, $20 for the weekend to check it out and have access to the cameras being there for all the different panels and stuff, being able to ask questions from the web. Like, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd pay $20 as a consumer. It'd have to have something for me. It'd have to be better set up than it is now. But as a retailer, I could see myself spending $50 on a virtual table at something with this type of exposer.
But I'm imagining, like, imagine $20, you get the whole, you know, weekend, or for these guys, like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And you get to go to all the panels. You get to check out all the different tables and stuff. You know, you might get swag and shit. Like, I mean, I think it could be worth. They could make it worth the $20.
I will say this: the one thing I would like to see them do over here with their where is it? The exhibitor list over here. So you're online, right? Why not allow every one of these people to put a pitch here? Name up here and a pitch down here. I knew I wasn't going to say anything more to help them, but I do want to see this succeed. Like you said, this could be something big. They've been trying to do this since there was an internet, and they've never done it right. This might actually force them to do it right. So I kind of want to see it. Imagine because like A&G Comics, what the hell is that? But like Written Sins, you know, Written Sins is comics about fetish, monsters, and more. Get your freak on and find out what the more is by clicking this link. You would click it. I would get 1 million clicks by that. And I think that's what's missing here. This just looks blah. They didn't look at it like from a fan. You could tell this was someone who's like, okay, archive it, put it alphabetical, let's be done with it. You know, that's a management call right here. That's not a merchandising call. And that's why you have managers who are specifically merchandising managers. And I think they could improve that. Again, not attacking them. Super happy that they've done something like this, but this just looks like names. I'm already bored.
It's all about innovating right now. You know, like, all right, so I'm going to go into there's a lot of these guys who sell like old comic books, Silver Age stuff, and all that kind of stuff. And they're finding, like, one of my buddies, he was like, man, I used to do a show every month in Long Island, and you know, and it was going great. And he goes, and now I'm not getting any money from the show. I'm having a hard time selling books and whatnot. And so what he ended up doing was he made a poker group. And so we play poker for slabs. And so, you know, it's like, oh, this book, if people want in, it's going to be $20, and you play, and you play for a book. And so they're still making their money on the books, and yet, and often they're making even more, because instead of trying to get one guy to pay $1,000, you're getting a bunch of dudes to play $20. And so there's a different way of doing it. So I'm not saying necessarily do that, but it was very innovative. And now is the time for innovations in the comics world for us to do that. Things like, there's a comic book shopping network now. And a lot of these comic book stores are actually doing auctions from their stores. I've had several stores auction off my books, you know? So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways of doing this shit. You guys just got to get on your toes and stop going, oh, I wish it would go back to normal. Dude, this might be the new normal. Get your shit together and learn from it. And you might even find that what this does is, we are able to go back to normal, you're able to create a new normal by having multiple ways to make money instead of the one old dumb way.
And I want to give Chuck credit for being the first person ever to have the auction go in reverse. That was impressive. I saw them keep lowering the price on your books. Please take these books. No, I'm kidding. I tease with Chuck. But this is pretty cool. If you don't know this, Amazon teamed up with San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, wow. Oh, good for them.
Yeah, they have their own stuff going on that you can check out. They even have comics. They have a live draw. See, this is the future. Interaction. You know, actually working together. Imagine that crazy thing. I keep telling all these indie creators, if you work together, you can get further. No, it has to be my vision. It has to be my stuff. No, big companies are learning that working together is going to matter. So do you. You have to figure it out. So I want to be part of the future. And like Chuck's saying, get out of your way. You know, I used to be a heavy Comic-Con guy. I don't like talking to comic book shops. And it's not because I don't like comic book shops. It's if you've ever talked to a comic book shop and you're an indie creator, you'll understand what I'm saying, because especially here in Florida, and I know Chuck said it in Texas, they're not too inviting. Down south, like I go up to the north, and I have relationships with some comic book shops up north already, and I have some in different areas that are excited about my book, took the kids' book. But down here, for some reason, especially where I am, not Orlando, but specifically where I am, none of them are interested in smaller creators. So you got to figure out a way. You know, some of it's Kickstarter. You know, I kickstarted an idea that I would have never done, but this year it just made sense with putting all my older work together. You know, I wouldn't have done it under the Written Sins thing, but some of it's just necessity. Some of it's redoing a Kickstarter that failed with Cat Dad and Supermom. And some of it's also just getting excited about the stuff and re-interacting with your fans. I mean, I'm part of a publisher that didn't exist before the pandemic, and now it does. And hopefully that's going to help me punch through in different ways I couldn't do on my own. So you have to learn to interact, like Chuck said. But that's enough with Amazon and the San Diego. Let's get back to the indie side of the stuff we love. Remember, the elevator pitch is open. You guys are happy to come on. Here we go. The Marv V says, this kind of events are great for people like me who never able to go to a con, but I can imagine that's not so good for artists who can't interact face-to-face with the fans and others. I disagree, because I think that there would be an instant way, because all they would have to do is literally put a StreamYard link up. Hey, I'm in StreamYard right now. You have a question, come by my table. And I know I said I wasn't going to give them any more free stuff. I'm just giving it to San Diego Comic-Con. Someone should tag San Diego Comic-Con in here. But that's what all these creators should do. Are you kidding me? I would have a StreamYard going the whole day, because if you're not recording StreamYard, you guys can run StreamYard the whole day. You can be in the background. So come to my table. Hey, how's everyone? And I would be sitting behind my table reading a comic or writing. And when someone showed up, I'd put it down like I would at my table and go, hi, welcome to my table. And I'd pick up my books and show them my books. Set up a table in front of I'd have a spinner rack. Like, you know, you guys have seen my stuff and how I do things. I would have my spinner rack. As a matter of fact, here, I'll actually play the video. When we did the first GarageCon, and when I did the GarageCon, one of the first things I knew that we were going to have to do was we were going to have to do something completely different from what we were doing. You know what I mean? Because, like, and I remember I talked to Chuck about it. I was like, you can't do an online con. I was like, but what if we had all the creators make tables and kind of show their books and do it from home and do it from their garages? And a couple people did stuff like that, and it came out really fun. And I'm trying to see if I have that video in my my pitch here, because we had done something really cool, and you guys just got to figure that out. You got to get out of your own way, and you have to be able to do something. And I think Chuck's absolutely right. What were you going to say now?
No,
the interaction.
I was gonna go right where you did, and that is, I mean, with StreamYard and stuff like that, there's no reason why you can't, bring people in. And people complain, oh, you can only have so many people. Well, as soon as someone has asked a question, kick you out. Next person, let's keep going. And you can be talking to people, having a conversation, showing your stuff off, selling stuff, showing yourself drawing. If you're an artist, you can have your screen literally on what you're drawing and then talk about it. They never even have to see your face if that's something that bothers you. So, yeah, there's 1,000 things that you guys can do, man. It's totally an option.
And you could set up a webcam or a laptop right there, be in your own StreamYard behind the scenes, have that interacting. StreamYard has up to 9 people now. I'm 9 people, mind you. I'm counting myself as one of the 10. It's up to 10, but you could have an additional 9 people coming to your table, asking you about it. And there's so much that people can do. And Marv, you're right. I want to be able to interact with creators like you. I'm actually debating doing that in the future, just having a StreamYard where people come in and talk to me about my comics, set it up as an event, and trade out with people. And every half an hour, that's going to be the next event I'm working on. I want to so I've done the panels really well, but I haven't done the selling really well. So I'm trying to think of like setting up like a what is it, QVC? The home shopping network type thing, something like this where we trade off with each other and have a different time slot. Me and Meredith are talking about it. You guys are going to see it soon, and Meredith's going to be like, don't tell him I haven't fully decided if I want to do it. Now it's done, Meredith. Now it's done. You're gonna have to change that that old shirt that you had, and you're going to have to work with me to do that, because I think that would be cool if we give Chuck 25 minutes. Chuck will be here 25 minutes in a room. Ask him about what he's creating. Everyone's allowed. Open mic. If you're a fan of Chuck, and if you can't get into the room, at the end of it, we'll host a special room for Chuck where he can stay an extra hour to talk to the fans he didn't get to talk to directly. So while you'll have 15, 20 minutes directly on the main show, on the side shows in our vendor room, you could be in there with the other creators and people could be coming in and out, and we'll try to make a schedule. So I'm trying to complicate the hell out of my life, try to find the right mix. We're going to do a one-day show to test it. Meredith's got a good name for it. She hasn't said it yet, so it's hers to announce, but changed my mind after what Chuck said. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of great that can be done. And I've always said it. That's why I was so against what they were calling online cons, because the potential is there to do something innovative. And what we really get is a couple people wanting to be the focus of the show to build up their stock to make it look like they're trying to white knight, or we're getting advertisements too much. We're not finding that unique mix of a show.
Yeah, what I'm hating is what I'm seeing more and more from these online cons is you can speak with your favorite celebrity for 1 minute for $250. And I'm like, no, not. That sucks. I'm not interested in that at all. That's not an online con to me. Being able to do that and maybe have that as a part of it, okay, whatever. But, there's so much more to a convention than just the fucking celebrities.
I haven't asked you yet. What do you think of the new look of our site while this is up?
I just jumped on it yesterday. I feel like it's a much cleaner look. I like the look of it. I'm having a harder time navigating it right now because I'm not used to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot simpler if you're not using it the way you are, too. You're missing things that I just removed that you need access to, like the back door.
Yeah.
Like I totally removed the back door because someone had told me if you leave the back door in place, people might try to hack it. Remove the back door and no one can get access to that stuff unless they know what they're doing. And if someone knows what they're doing, you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
So,
Though, I mean, to be fair, you've been up for how many years?
Counting the original site, this is 5.
You know what I mean? And how many hack attempts have you had?
37.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an all right number, I guess. You know, you got to up those numbers, though, man. Those are rookie numbers.
I guess so. I'm sorry. I'll try harder. We got one person came real close to getting into the background, to be honest with you. I just happened to notice it was able to shift and get Bluehost on it.
Wow.
Yeah. It was. It actually was shutting our thing down, and I'm like, something's wrong. And they're like, no, there's nothing wrong with your site. And they looked hard, and they're like, wait, you're being attacked by bots trying to access your site. I'm like, thank you. Supposedly, I'm on a cloud now that makes it harder. You can't see the quotes I'm doing right now because I didn't set up my room to be on camera, but there are air quotes. So we'll have to see. I'm proud to be part of Geek Insider. Like you said, this was also about. We had gotten some comments. As much as I loved the logo of my son Jack's on it, it also made us look a little kiddish. And there was just too much going on sometimes for the load factor. And we've gotten so busy at times with so many subscribers. When we start getting peak moments, we suddenly have issues. So when we have something go viral, the site becomes a crawl site. So I've tried to get rid of as much as I can and make it as easy to navigate as it can. Again, thank you to Josh Lyman for the new logo. Very simple, very, very elegant, I dare say. And this is just how we're going to look for the next year. So that's kind of the big news too. New logo is basically almost a non-logo. If you think about it, it's just our site name, and that's all we need.
Yeah. I like it. It's simple.
What really sucks is next year when I have to print all the new banners.
Yeah, right.
That's going to kind of suck. But, you know, and the Jax logo itself will probably move on to either Cat Dad and Supermom. It'll get reused like WS was from Written Sins. We'll give it like I did before, 6 months to a year. Let people get used to the new look. And we had slowly been phasing it out. I don't know if people noticed it, but since I knew this year I wanted to do something different, this was supposed to happen in the fall. Chuck knows we always take the summer off. This year there was no summer to have. There's nowhere to go. So why take the summer off?
Just like there's no such thing as a weekend anymore.
Yeah. For a lot of us, there just isn't anything going on. So
somebody was talking to me and they were like, actually it was Travis. And Travis said, hey man, I want to drop my he wanted to drop his Kickstarter on Tuesday, but that was just in a couple days. And he said, I want some extra time to be able to show it off. Should I wait the whole week? And I said, dude, the world isn't the same that it used to be. Tuesday was nice because no one had anything to do and everyone was paying attention. Well, guess what? The whole fucking world is like that now. No one cares about Friday, Saturday, Sunday anymore. That's not a thing. And he was like, oh, you're right. And I was like, yeah, man, I don't think it matters what day you start on. And sure enough, he jumped on a Friday. It gave him a couple more days to work. And yeah,
I don't think there's anything. I agree with you. I think we have to look at it like it is. All those dates and numbers and all that. I've seen Kickstarters completely suck until the last week and go through the roof in 1 week because it is different. And it's Facebook is fucked up right now. I mean, it has not been working right for a month. I am amazed that people aren't losing their collective minds more than they already are. The only thing I think saving Facebook right now is groups are working really well. So I think it's almost on purpose because they're forcing people to go into the groups that they're part of now. And I think Facebook's doing it on purpose to stop the bullshit of fighting. Because my news feed hasn't worked literally in a month now the right way. It keeps crashing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it might be an iOS thing, but I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing. Their news feed doesn't have a lot of their friends anymore. They've suddenly lost seeing a lot of stuff. And go ahead and freaking announce it. No, come on and announce it. I want to see the 3-day-old shirt, Meredith. Bring it on. Like, it's yours to announce, Meredith. I'm gonna even send her a link. We're gonna. You can not have your camera on. Like seriously,
He's the one who sent me the link.
I know, right? No, I'm gonna send it so she knows I want her on. But you don't have to put your camera on. I don't all the time. Like when I haven't done up my hair and I'm not looking my best and I had to put on my makeup for the morning because I got to get rid of all the red skin and I got to look like a white person because you know I can't out myself that I really am the devil. I have to do all that. I don't feel like it, so I just put up an avatar. So I'm pretty excited about that. Come on, Meredith, come hang out with us.
You know me well, and you know that I tend to sleep in, and there's been multiple times, and today was one of them where I basically rolled out of bed, threw on a shirt and a hat, and went, "Let's go live!" And so that's what happened today. I was sitting there in just my boxers, just enjoying my my feed, flipping through. Saw you guys, checked you out, and you were like, "I'm down to host," and I was like, "I'll jump on, shirt, hat, do it."
I am disappointed no one's come in to pitch, but again, how many people are seeing this on Facebook? I'm noticing more views again after it's gone live at times, depending. Plus, this is new. We're not on at 11. People aren't used to 11 o'clock for us yet again.
Do you want to have some fun?
Sure.
Okay, why don't we create elevator pitches for books even if we haven't read them or seen them?
Sure, I can do that.
That sounds like fucking. That way, maybe we get people to check it out. And we're talking shit about the book. Like we don't even know what we're saying.
That's what started with Kickstarter pause. That's how that show came up. Speaking of talking about projects, okay, Guano Guy number 3. Guano Guy is back, and this time he's not puppeting around. What do you think? What do you got, Chuck?
It's Guano Guy, right? So you guys got to check out Guano Guy because this book is the shit.
We've been joined by someone. We've been joined. It's the gym look where it's don't talk to me. I'm not here for you. I'm wearing a hat. I have my headphones in. Just stop looking at me, you creep. I know that look. We welcome in Meredith.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, my husband just got me this hat yesterday, so I'm breaking it in. I am Meredith Loughran. I am the comic noob. I am with Terraform Comics, Wild One Forever, Geek Insider, Terraform. Did I mention Terraform Comics? Because they need love. And sign up for our newsletter. What else? That's about it. All right, so I am in my 3-day shirt because I literally climbed out of the couch, which is where I fell asleep last night. And started to get to work, and I haven't gotten my shower in yet. And you know what? I don't care.
Tell them about the next show.
The next Indee event, #Indee event. We are planning for it's called the End of Summer Bash, tentatively. We might change that. And it's going to be a 1-day event to close out the summer. We're saying goodbye to at least half the year, and hopefully celebrating with a bunch of live streaming shows and things. Going to be working much like it did with Indee Event, on a much smaller scale. Again, 1 day is what we're planning. It could expand. I don't know. Rob and I have been talking about it, and we just haven't decided. And tentatively, let me look at my calendar. Yeah, look at this. I've got my sticky pads already starting here. August 30th. So it's going to be like End of Summer Bash, or we're going to be like Goodbye to Summer. We don't know what we're going to call it, but that is tentative date.
What about the No Labor Day Indie event?
No, positive thinking, Chuck. No. Positive vibes.
That is positive. No labor. We're not working. We're having a good time at this indie event.
Okay, I see that, but I also saw that my first reaction was, no one's working. Holy shit! We need money.
Oh shit! No, that's. Oh, I see. That's what when you went negative, I was like, how is she seeing this?
Yeah, like no one's working. No.
I just meant we're this isn't work. We're having a great time at this indie event.
How about we take over Labor Day weekend and call it the Labor of Love of Comics?
The Labor of Love
for comics. For comics. Or for geekdom, because Geek Insider is part of it. The labor of love of geekdom. I like that.
I don't know.
Geekdom
It sounds
is
really
right.
kind of long, but as long as we use the hashtag, it doesn't matter. But we have time to figure it out.
It's just an indie event.
Yeah, I mean, throw your ideas, guys.
Pitch elevator. That's what we're doing right now. We're pitching books that aren't even ours anymore. So we might as well be pitching stuff. What else do we have to share with you guys? You gonna stick out with us for a few more minutes? We're gonna wrap.
Yeah, I can do that.
Minutes. So we're basically giving elevator pitches to things that we're not technically sure about. We're just doing it anyway. Hey, look at this project. So here you go. Tales from Nocturnia. Complete legendary Saga book. I didn't know they were part of Saga. I'm kidding. So this is a book about steampunk and like kingdoms, and people get killed.
I
Time
like
travel?
Have you read
people
it?
fiction.
No, I have not, and I haven't. That's the messed up thing. I have the PDFs of it. I just haven't gotten there yet.
So it's not steampunk.
Oh shit! Oops.
So Tales from Nocturnia is it actually comes off of Heirs of Isildur, and it's just one of the characters there. It's his world that he came from. So there's no steampunk whatsoever. It's a medieval. Honestly, it's just a high medieval tale of intrigue and the battle for good versus evil.
Like
And
high,
that's really-
like Colorado high or high like highbrow.
Probably both.
Okay.
There's a lot of images there where you're like, man, maybe I need to smoke one.
Let me ask you guys, the nostalgia covers, are you a fan of those? Where they take something else?
I'm a fan of them when I'm a fan of the nostalgic image. So
Okay.
I'm not a Garbage Pail Kids guy. So I'm like, oh, that's cute, but I don't care. But if they did like, I don't know, like a G.I. Joe one or something, I'd be like, oh shit, that's my stuff. So I think it's with anything else. If you like it, then you like it.
Marv asks, hello, where's your husband, Meredith? Funny guy. And he is actually a fun, like that show is good. You guys should do like the married couples take on the world and make that a weekly show.
Do you know, actually, about 6 or 7 years ago, I wanted to launch a podcast called Adulting Badly, and he was going to be my co-host.
I could definitely be a guest on that show often.
I mean, we had, I had a section in there that I was going to be called "You Can't Be That Stupid," and it was just going to be like a half an hour to an hour show. We're thinking about launching that again.
Do it. And it's funny.
My response to that one. Oh, go ahead.
Me and you were in the same shirt, Chuck. I just realized what shirt you're wearing. I'm actually wearing that shirt. But go ahead. You were saying that we're like twinsies today. So what were you going to say, Chuck? Your response to that?
But what was the name of the show or the name of the episode you had coming or that you were talking about? Meredith?
Oh, who, me? Oh,
yeah.
The name of the show was actually Adulting Badly.
No, but the specific concept that you had talked about.
Oh, you can't be that stupid.
Yeah, and so my rebuttal would be, yeah, I can.
Well,
I can.
She lives in Florida now, so she knows that can happen.
Oh,
yeah, I would do an hour-long show of, yeah, I can be that stupid. And
I used to be a bartender when, my parents used to own a bar. So all the stupid shit that I saw back then, plus
I was a cook and a bartender as well. And same thing.
The hookers, the drug dealers, the drug addicts, the drunks. We have stories.
I have to say this, in 2020, there's going to be a new reality show. It's America's Got Integrity, where they're actually going to search Americans to find some that are smart and actually have integrity. I hear it's going to be a very difficult show to cast. I hear that there's going to be a lot of casting issues. It's going to be, I think, just a special. I think they said it's only going to be a half an hour special. That's how bad it was to find Americans with.
They find two people.
Yeah, integrity and intelligence, because those are two things just not going around enough in America. And I love America, but it's true, from president down, we don't treat each other well. And I think the coronavirus wasn't the only virus we discovered we were suffering from this year. And I hope we get better. But your pitch for this, Meredith, Tales from Nocturnia.
What do you mean?
Pitch? Give us the elevator pitch. If you had to sell this book, if you had to sell this book right now, how would you sell it?
Oh, thanks for putting me on the spot. Jesus, I haven't had a chance to. I mean, actually, I think I supported it. But,
so you know something about it.
I know something about it, but can you play the video for me at least?
It's just music. So I'll mute
music.
Yeah.
The fun thing about it, hon, is that you don't have to be right. You can just make stuff up.
Yeah, we're just having
That's what
fun.
we've been doing.
Okay, well, I was just thinking that it's got the medieval aspect with it, with monsters and dragons and death, magic, and blood. Lots of blood.
All right, I want my pitch back. I think I can do it. Now that I watched the video, Meredith is right. I could totally do this better. All right, you ready for it? The Batman, what is it? The Batman who laughs without his mask on. The unicorn girl. Have sex and have an ugly baby who tries to take over a kingdom. Get Tales of Nocturnia 1 through 3 now. That's definitely going to be hate mail from Matt.
Oh,
You're wrong. Not what my book is about. There's not a unicorn princess or queen. And that is not the Batman who laughs.
You're such an asshole, Rob.
If it got him one person to sign on, he can just be happy with that pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you'd sell the book. By the time people read it, they'd be like, "You never mentioned that he was the Batman who laughs." Oh, that was just Rob being an asshole.
What's this unicorn girl with the ugly baby? What's that about?
We do have a cool Kickstarter coming out. Again, this is, you can pronounce this probably better than me. I don't do anime.
Anaki.
I would say Anaki, yeah.
I like the pitch line, though. I'm not even going to mess with it because it's got a great pitch. This is great right here. Afro-punk story of a con girl that faces her witch force when a black market deal goes south. That's kind of cool.
That's a good, yeah.
Now, I'm just wondering, is it con girl like she does comic cons, or is she a con artist? Either way, I'm in. But it could be two very different stories depending on which is which.
Yeah. I have to admit, the first thought that popped into my head was like conventions, but with the rest of it, it makes more sense that she's a con artist.
We'll see, because I'm going to be back in that book, and we'll be covering it already. I think we've already gotten permission. For those wondering, we do ask permission to do all this coverage. JD Calderon's also got the Oswald Chronicles. All right, so I'm going to let you guys pitch this in a minute. Our terms for backing this, for covering these products and these Kickstarters are very long and long-winded. If you're going to be doing it, I'll send it to you in a link and you can read it. I'm not reading it out loud. It's legalese, and it's just to protect all the people on our shows when we're giving honest feedback and opinions. Unlike this, which is satire, we don't want anyone saying, "Well, I didn't know you were going to do that," and point out how horrible my video was, despite how horrible it really is. Please don't tell people how horrible it is. And my answer is like, do you think they don't have eyes and ears? So this is the Oswald Chronicles issues 1 through 8. Go ahead, do your pitch. I'm going to go hot redhead saves mouse from mousetrap.
Ewoks and fairies and more save the world from evil.
Ooh. All right, Meredith.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm so bad at these. Oh, damn it. I think I'm having like technical difficulties.
I think.
You know what? My first impression is Secret of Nim.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The sort of continuing Tales of Secret of Nim without the copyright for it.
Yeah. But you know what? But I know it's a totally different story. But it just, the animation and things like that, the illustrations and things, it was that style that I really like because I love Secret of Nim.
Yeah. I did. My sister loved it too, so we watched it a lot growing up. Great art, super excited. JD's a great guy, so always happy to have him on the show. What else do we have? Well, we have mine. So I want to hear. I think Chuck's read it all, but Meredith hasn't. So I want to hear the pitch because I have a great pitch. The creator of Fetish Monsters and More shows you just how much more there is. Get the fan favorite titles as rewards and get his more too. And that does sound sexual on purpose. On purpose. So go ahead, Chuck. Have at it.
How mean can I be?
I mean, I did say that you were the first person who set the record for reverse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got that coming, right?
I might have heard this one.
For the most horror you can buy, spend an entire book inside Rob Anderson's head.
Wow. That's bad. That should come with a warning. Like FDA does not advise this for mental health. All right.
Well, but you know what? And to get out of the pitch, a lot of these stories are, you got Pain Box, you got the bullying story, you've got a lot of those. A lot of them are dealing with social issues.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't understand it. So, I mean, that's something to bring up, that these aren't just a bunch of stories that you threw together. There's some real social issues in here.
These are a lot darker. A lot of people who've read some of these are like, I didn't realize how dark you are. Chuck's read some of my background stuff. He knows how dark I can get. I just happen to not put them out in comic book form. Dark Justice was always intended to be. There's a part in Dark Justice where a priest winds up with his own dongle in his mouth. And that was part of it. And he was because the whole idea of Dark Justice is that society's gotten so fucked up that it needs that rebalancing to make it go back to center. And the only way to do that is with violence, sheer violence from the other side, killing the people who are playing chess. Because you can't negotiate with people who have that type of money. You have to end them and make them all afraid of boogeyman's coming for them. See, that'd be a great pitch for the Dark Justice. So I never actually got to the pitch part for Dark Justice, believe it or not. It never got beyond that quick Avocator 4-page story. You know what I mean? What do you got, Meredith?
I was going to say the collection and genesis of young Rob Anderson in his journey through comic books.
I like that. Much nicer than Chuck. Much nicer than Chuck.
I like you, Rob. I like you.
Oh,
I like him too. He just had it coming.
I did. You missed the part. He was talking about online auctions and how his book was on the online auctions. And I said, give Chuck credit. He's the first person to ever see the online auctions go in reverse.
Oh, no. It's like paying people to buy my book.
Would you pay at least $1? It's real paper. You can use it for the stove.
I'll give you 2 for the price of none. Come on.
I'll give you $1. Please, just get it off my rack. So I deserved it. It was totally like I had to admit that one was deserved. I had that one coming. All right, let's move on. What else do we have for you guys today? Let's go over to our group. We don't spend enough time in our group. For those who don't know, the Indee event is now its own group where we actually encourage you to drop all of your videos. That's going to continue to be part of it. But for now, while we don't have an Indee event, we definitely encourage you guys to do that. Please send us press releases. Our site we're trying to make more professional and easier to actually look through. That's why we're doing these shows for the smaller little stuff that you guys are seeing online, as opposed to dropping all these things, which you'll see in a few minutes. Don't give us a lot. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask for the Indee page that we have now. Do you have limitations? What are those as far as content that you want or don't want?
I don't want random stuff. Don't show me art. Don't show me random stuff. You want to crowdfund, I get that. If you want to put a video, I get that. If you have like a really well put together press release, I get that. But if it's just the random stuff, and we'll see in a second what that random stuff looks like, don't do that. Chuck, you had something to add?
No, I was pointing up to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I just want it to be where people go for videos and quick content. It's either watch a video or you see something quickly. I don't want it to be the art. And I love the art, but that's why we have this group. By the way, this is Comic Book Advocates Network, where you can drop anything you want that's creative about comics. So that's why, Meredith. I just want there to be a streamline to the other one, because treat it more like an event. Treat this like your everyday stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think that's good for everybody who participates in it and wants to drop their links in. Maybe keep away from the memes.
Yes, stuff like that we don't want to see, and we definitely don't want to see like, I'm asking an idea. I'm going to ask it in this group. That's not what that group's for. So right now we have this Kickstarter, and again, we're not given anything but this. And sometimes it's okay with the Kickstarter, sometimes it's not. As you can see, their pitch line gets taken away. So now we all get to pitch it, not knowing what it's about. So it's the first time I think every one of us is seeing it. So I'm going to take what I see, and I'm going to be, all right, a hot chick gets in trouble with a werewolf, and suddenly an alien wants to be her boyfriend. Get under a blood red moon and see why. It also is an ad for tampons. Chuck didn't know what to do with that one.
Tits McGee the vampire finds herself deep in werewolf country and needs to find her way out. Check out Under the Blood Red Moon.
All right, Meredith, you're up. She's
okay.
like, how did I get here? What did I do?
I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, a bodice-ripping, blood-sucking adventure under a blood red moon.
You guys should have heard the unedited version I had in my head that I was trying to quickly edit. All right, here's Martha Schwartz whipping things with her character. I'm putting nothing else into that. I'm leaving it right there. That's it. But this is also kind of what I mean. I love Martha, but she doesn't give us the pitch. Right here, remember I told you guys the stuff at the bottom? She should have put in her elevator pitch right at the bottom here. Right here should have been the elevator pitch. My Kickstarter's live right now. We're whipping it into shape. Get behind the successfully funded Seed Seekers and get your copy today. So.
Yeah, honestly, if I saw just that and nothing else, I wouldn't know what to really think of it.
Yeah, I would think it was going a totally different way than what Seed Seekers actually is. So
yeah.
Chuck's being too quiet. There's something going on in that head.
It's tough. I'm on this book, but I don't know a lot about it either.
Kind of scary. I edited this, but I have no clue what this is about.
No. So I edited the last one. I'm supposed to be editing this one. I just haven't, it hasn't started for me yet.
I didn't realize this wasn't done. I thought this was for a trade. That's my bad. I thought this one was just collecting her stuff from the old issues.
Yeah, I honestly don't even know for sure. And I know that sounds terrible. She was going, honestly, she was days into the Kickstarter and started tagging me, and I'm like, what's going on? She's like, you're editing it. And I'm like, oh, I am now. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just looks like a graphic novel. So maybe she's having you have a second look before she puts it out. That's why I thought your work was in it, already from the last book you did. That's why I thought I didn't realize. Yeah, so yeah.
No. So the last book that I did went into it talked a lot about the history. This is that actual history coming to light.
Jax is being Jax. So we're going to move on to the next topic. We're going to talk about Ladies' Night. And this I like. Look at how he wrote this up. That's what I'm talking about, kids. Chuck, you want to read that for me while I take Jaxie off? You need me to make it bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me make it. See, the new Facebook thing, I'm not even sure how you make it bigger. Let me see. There it goes.
Can I? Okay. I can make my page a little. Okay, here we go. SDCC at home continues tonight on Pop XP. Tonight is Ladies' Night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Join the Pop XP crew as they welcome Deborah Stevens-Tucci, Francisca Polito, Jennifer Van Damsel, Joni Brosis, and Crystal McMahon Van Diver to the show. We will be talking to these strong women who manage and run booths, as well as rock the cosplay scene. So click that link, set that reminder, and subscribe if you haven't yet. https://youtube.b/zilT7R8CUJM, and I obviously wear glasses because I saw all of that.
That was almost painful.
It was like pulling my teeth.
Yeah, but there was a lot there that gives you great information.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, guys. Do that when you're dropping this, because I dropped this, and this was a video. So a video, look at all the stuff I had here for the video. Look at all that information, all the stuff I drop in. It's not hard, Hey, I found this out yesterday, and I don't know if we're supposed to talk about this yet, but I found out yesterday that there's 2 books called Super Cats in COMiX now.
Oh.
And I don't know how that's going to go down.
Is one spelled like an S and one with a Z?
I don't know yet. I don't know how this is going to come out.
It's going to go down. The first one to have the trademark is going to keep it.
Or a copyright.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And with Super Cat, is that too generic? That might be just too generic for anyone to really copyright, I was thinking.
I mean, if you can copyright superpower or superhero.
Well, that's getting kicked out, I heard. Last I heard, that's actually.
I hope so, because that's bullshit.
I figured something out. You want to hear something cool, Chuck? I forgot this. I copyrighted Cat Dad and Supermom. What makes a superhero? I actually copyrighted it before they copyrighted superhero and trademarked it. I have the legal right to re-release Jax that way because it's under copyright.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they can suck it.
I thought they did that back in the 80s.
No, they were trying to, and it had gone through the court for years. It only, if I remember correctly, it officially happened right after Jax, where they were given it. Of course, appeals came right after. Appeals came right after. But they had been trying to do stuff. What it was in the 80s and 90s, they were fighting each other for it until the 2000s, where they decided to team up.
Yeah.
It was easier to not fight each other and to both get it together.
And, that brings up a really good point. Do a quick SEO search when you start making up your names. Because I had a client recently, and they had a character, and I was like, ooh, that sounds like it's been taken. And I looked it up, and right away, it was a Marvel character book, everything. And I was like, yeah, you can't use that. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, time to move on. But stop with the buts right there. You're not fighting Marvel. Move on. Like, let's find a better name. And so that's what we had to do.
He can spell it differently. That is a workaround.
You can. So the name was Soldier X.
Oh yeah, you can.
And like, how are you going to spell soldier wrong? SOLJ? No.
But it's also
no.
You can change your name, but it's got to be totally different. Soldier X, I assume, is almost spot on to their Soldier X. And yes, there's copying in comic books, but that's pinhole because it's Soldier already. That's too close. Even Super Cats, like, I think it's really going to come down to the powers, their outfits. Will they sue each other? Will there be? Because I didn't notice this until a friend did, because I tagged Caleb because Caleb did it, and I didn't realize that this wasn't Caleb when I tagged him. And then I was like, uh-oh, I hope I didn't just start some shit. Did I accidentally start something?
Here's the difference, though. You've got the Super Cat and Super Cats. They are 2 different things, technically.
Let's see. Yeah, they bring it up as Super Cat here. So maybe that's just the way that saying it online can get them in trouble. Calling it Super Cat or Cats, or I don't know. We'll have to see. Hopefully,
the one benefit of having similar names like that is that a lot of times you will siphon off a lot of the supporters from the other one, and vice versa. So it could work, or you could just piss each other off. I think it comes down to ego too, especially if you have completely different stories.
It'll definitely be interesting. I hope I didn't start a fight. I really hope I didn't start.
At the very least, you brought attention to it.
Yeah.
After I tagged it, a friend of mine was like, dude, that's not Caleb. Look up. because I just read the name and I thought the whole time it was Caleb's thing, and I was like, oh shit! I even back. This is what happens when you're busy. You back campaigns on PDF levels. The hurricane. You plan for the hurricane while you read it. You know, something will go wrong. You're not feeling well. You have a bunch of books. And you don't read them, and then you look at it, and I'm like, I guess that's just Caleb's because he's doing a Super Cat thing. And then I was like, the art looks so different than I remember. And then after my friend pointed it out, I'm like, oh shit! Look, I didn't mean to do this. Please don't make me go to court with you guys. I didn't know. I was just making an innocent comment. Well, what wasn't an innocent comment? What happened this week? I'm not going to go into it. We went over on Tuesday where the dynamite situation's going on. Please look it up. It's in our newsroom right now. We're not changing that to Saturday anyway. You'll be able to get it. But this is Peter Simeti said, corporate comics scare easy. Good luck pulling that nonsense with an indie comic creator. He spelled Indee wrong, but I'm still going to give him credit for this. We all started printing ash cans at home, selling copies by hand. We got to where we are by being resourceful, creative, and determined. Cancel culture be damned. We're here to stay. I completely agree. I've had people try to cancel me. I've had people make up lies about me. The whole thing was I didn't have a corporate overlord that actually balked at it. I was just me. And I could continue to be like, I don't have time for you. I even had a dude try to start trouble recently in a thread about some stuff that he wasn't even there for. And I was like, well, tell me who said it. Tell me who's telling you all this, and we'll call him in here and we'll have a conversation right now because I don't got time for any of that. And I can't betray a person. I was like, they're betraying me. I don't care who you're betraying. You're bringing it up. You got a problem. Little froggy jump. And of course, when I brought another person into it that he was trying to have that bus run over, he suddenly ran away and blocked both of us. So, I mean, it doesn't work when you're not a big corporation that you have to worry about stockholders reacting. I can literally turn around any day of the week and say, hey, fuck you, buddy. Fuck you. And just walk around. I try to be nice. I'm part of Terraform. I respect Meredith's role and all my other founders. We have Luke, Brian K. Morris. We have Eric Hodson and Varian Grant. I respect all of them. But there's sometimes every so often you just got to tell a person, fuck you. I mean, there's no other way to get around it. But this was one of those cases. So we are at the end of our 90 minutes. So it's time to say goodbye. We'll go around the room with how we came in. Chuck, tell them who you are.
This is me right there. Chuck Pino. Feel free to track me down on Facebook. Chuck Pino on Instagram now. I know that's fucked up. You can find me at Chucky Pin on Twitter. You can find my Chuck's Raw reviews on YouTube, where I talk about some of the greatest indie comics out there right now. And you can also find my publishing wing, Bonfire Press, on Facebook. I'd love for you guys to come check out the stuff. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to hit me up.
Chuck, how did they actually discover that the planets align the way they do and go in the circular fashion that they do? You said ask you any questions. Yeah, you said
ask. Yeah, no, you can ask. Science?
Science. That's the official answer. Meredith.
You know the official answer. Science.
You see this? This is hot mess. All right. I am a hot mess right now. And I am, once we get off camera, I am going to go take a shower so I don't embarrass myself for the interview that I have scheduled with Enes Iskander. I don't know how the English say it, but she is the creator of Iva, and we're going to be going live streaming through Geek Speak, through the Geek Insider channel, and a whole bunch of other ones, Comic Book Advocates, and that's going to be 4:00 because we're trying to reach our UK audience. So anybody in England and the greater European area, we're going to be interviewing her. So please pop on, ask questions and things like that. I've also got her scheduled, well, not quite scheduled, but we're going to be doing another interview to learn more about the artist herself and her journey, not so much the comic book. And that's going to be at wildoneforever.com. And that is the women-centric site, but it is not the women-exclusive site. I am also part of the founding team of Terraform Comics and the Comic Noob. So you're going to be following my journey through creating my very first comic book at the age of nearly 50, and I'm okay with that. So this hot mess is going to get ready to go take a shower and get ready for that. Hopefully the thunderstorms don't cut out my power. That would suck.
So hot.
So hot. Hot mess.
So, Chucky Fucky.
Love it.
That might be a new thing. I actually going to come back and screenshot this later.
Chucky is my good friend from. We started off on Steam It. We're over on Whale Shares, and he's a great guy. He is another community advocate in the blockchain space. So yeah,
he knows how it goes, because one of my taglines is "My name is Chuck, and I give a fuck." So he gets it. He gets it.
Apparently, so do other people from Chuck. So that's it, guys. We're out of here. Thanks for being on the show. We'll be back. Next show we have on the Geek Insider in Comic Book Advocates Network will be Tuesday at 11 a.m., where we talk about mainstream news. I am on this weekend on the Indie Volt Network with the cancel culture. And let me get rid of Chuck Fucky's thing. Chuck Fucky. And Marvy said, great to see you. Take care and be safe. Thank you too, my man.
Marvy.
This weekend, 9 p.m. Saturday Eastern Time, the cancel culture versus... Oh, no, that's the wrong one. See, this is what happens when I'm laughing too hard. I pull up the wrong one. Or I didn't put up... Oh, I don't put it... Didn't... Oh, yeah, I did. Here it is. I just put up too much stuff. The dangers of creators coming before comics. We're going to be talking about what happens when creators become more important than comics and the danger that has, especially with gatekeeping. So that's it, kids. We're on our way out. Thank you for being part of the show today. On our way out, 2 videos for you to watch. We'll see you on Tuesday. Help us continue to advocate. While we advocate for thousands of creators and hundreds of projects a year at no charge, the tools we use, such as web hosting, URLs, and computers, have an annual cost. Help comic book advocates stay on air. Please consider donating anything you can to help us to continue to advocate and put on advocating program for everyone to enjoy. Become an advocate for us and a sponsor for advocating. Who knows? If we make enough, maybe we can hire a full-time editor. Be more than just a fan. Become an advocate for comics. Subscribe to comicbookadvocates.com, the site that puts the love of comics first.